So my good friends, why would you want to be number one, an employee, number two, have a side business, and then number three, being in the real estate game? Well, the thing is that, as you all know, that I'm in the business of real estate, I do investments, and I also teach how you can do it. And today I've got one of my clients, his name is Sizwe, and he's going to be showing you how he is doing 3 incomes and why he's doing it. And I think for me the why is far much bigger than actually just, thinking, I'm selling Taurai, hey, I am doing this. Well, but is it giving you money? Without wasting time, welcome aboard. It is the TJ Tribe. And today I've got a cool brother. His name is Sizwe. Sizwe, how's it going, brother?
TJ, I'm great. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Good, thanks.
So, Sizwe, many people might not know you. You are new to the channel, and people don't know you. But let's start off by talking about who are you first and what is it that you do?
Okay, my name is Sizwe Shabalala. I was born and raised in Soweto and KZN.
Right.
And I grew up also in Eldorado Park.
Right. In Elders?
Doing school, yeah. So I went to school in
Eldorado
Park. We survived, and it was still the bad old days before 1994. Right. And we survived. It was very, very good. And then went to school, high school. Afterwards, started working.
Yeah.
And throughout my working, I always knew that there's something about me that I need to do.
Right.
I didn't know what it was at the time. I did not go too far in my tertiary level.
Right.
But I still did not feel down that side or that line did not go accordingly. Then I started working, and I gained my confidence.
Right.
Because now I could purchase myself roll-on and all the essentials.
Yeah.
Basic essentials. Yeah, the basic essentials. Yeah. I think that's
look after yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
And that actually started bringing out my inquisitiveness, because now I've got access, and I've got options, and I've got access to people who are successful, that I'm like, okay, hang on, how did he get so successful? So then I start being interested in people.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is then how I actually got into doing business.
Right.
Yeah. But the journey actually began long ago. At school level, we used to sell sweets, beaches.
Right.
And made a lot of money, and it got confiscated.
Yeah.
I got into trouble, but
right.
We pushed on. When I started working, I was working as a driver. Right. And then I had a love for computers, and I started building computers from scratch and selling them.
Okay, right. So pushing yourself, that's what we're talking about here. That's number one. But then number two, you try out different things. You're in the computing space. So now you've taken this as a profession. Is this your bread and butter today still?
100%. This is my bread and butter. This is my 9 to 5.
Right.
And along the way,
yes,
that's when I met my lovely wife.
Right.
And then, when you meet someone new in your life, and fortunately, it's someone who actually who you aspire to actually be almost on the same magnitude as I was just beginning my career in computers, and she's an accountant.
Right.
So I always had that in mind, that okay.
I know you good cards, eh? Go for the accounting and technician. Yeah.
I think it was always the business person in me. That was actually pushing beyond the boundaries.
So I want to speak to that, Sizwe, and I just want us to be real here, because many are men today, especially today, there is more opportunities for women And thus women are getting paid better. Thus women are also in good positions, and they also have they are more, what's the word I'm looking for? They are more stable.
Yes.
They don't need a man like potentially our parents' generation where they were dependent on a man. So women today, they are more independent. Now there you come in as a man.
Yes.
And maybe you're not an accountant, but you know she's an accountant. How did you even say hello? You know, like how do you get the guts to even have the conversation? Because now a lot of men draw back,
Yes.
and say, hey, I'm not in that level, and they miss out on the opportunity. But here you are, you married a couple of years. How did that work out for you from a relationship perspective? Especially, I think the hello is easy.
Yes.
But when you now know
Yeah.
that she's on the 40 grand and you're on the 10 grand, and the dynamics of how we are raised start playing in our head. Because I was in the same boat
Yes.
with exactly what I'm talking about here. When I met my wife, she was earning more than I was,
Yes.
right? And that also pushed me, by the way, right? But not to say that I was wanting to beat her, but I was trying to figure out, I'm the man here, so I should be providing. But it's not bad that she is. But how did you deal with it when you figured out that she was earning more than you at the time?
Actually, it was never a challenge for me.
Sure.
Look, a lot of things sometimes that happen to us
Yeah.
are because of our upbringing and background.
Oh man, yeah.
So I'll go back. My parents, my mother was a teacher, or
Yeah.
is it? Well, yeah, she's retired. She was a teacher,
Yeah.
and my father was a clerk.
Right.
So if you compare again, my mother used to be the person that earns much more.
She's probably
yes,
the
yes,
breadwinner.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But my father never really withdrew.
Yes.
They actually made it work.
Sure.
So I think that actually just made it easy for me because I come from that situation.
So there's a model.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I struggled with that. I was like, nah, I need to earn more.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, at some point I had to seek counsel around that. And one of my uncles said to me, but you are worried that your wife earns more money than you. What if you were earning zero? And she's the only one bringing? And I was like, yo, I might not be even comfortable with that. But that is just my own thinking. And then I had a discussion with my wife, and my wife was like, doesn't bother me. And I'm like, oh, okay. If it doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But maybe, how should we start building together? Because that's yours, and what I'm bringing across is mine, but there's no longer in the relationship, there's no you and me. There's now us that we need to build. And I think that was my turning point, where we started building together. And in our household now, we do not look at yours, mine. It's what we are both contributing into the household. And again, contribution would mean different things for different people. You know, so maybe your wife might not be working, but she's looking after the kids 100%. And she's enabling you to go out there and work. So Sizwe, your 9 to 5 is in the IT space. You have done computing before as a side hustle. What other side hustle have you been up to of late?
Okay, of late, I'm selling ice. So I started the ice business. I saw a gap, I think around 2019.
Right.
Around where I'm staying. There's a lot of these shops.
Right.
And they didn't really have ice suppliers.
Right.
So I just went direct to them and found out, okay, you guys are shops, and I know that ice is consumed everywhere because I can see there's bottle stores and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's only the bottle store that would sell ice. But the bottle, so then I approached those shop owners
Okay.
And that's how actually the idea of the side hustle of selling ice happened. So I then did research, and that's when I saw that, okay, it only takes you purchasing an ice machine,
right,
and having access to water, which we have,
yeah,
and electricity.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
And you've got a business?
And I've got a business.
Oh, my man. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So, roughly how much would you buy an ice machine?
The first ice machine that I bought was around 30.
Oh, the first, so which means that you've bought more?
I bought more, yes.
Okay.
So the first that I bought was around 30,000. It was a second-hand machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought that, and I bought, I think it's one freezer.
Yeah.
That was the advice, because when I was doing my research, I went to ice machine companies,
yeah,
and I told them, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to start an ice business, but I don't know. I've never ran such a business. What exactly do I need?
Sure.
And they gave me all the pointers. You need plastic bags.
Yeah.
You need a freezer to actually store the ice.
Right.
And you need transportation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And okay.
So I think for some of my friends who are at home right now, I'm always saying that even if you can't invest in real estate, so the channel we are here, we're always talking about have a job as a primary income, but thereafter have a business. If your business, your alternative business is in real estate, awesome. But we are also of the firm belief that whatever business that you're going to run, it's great. But then thereafter, have some real estate somewhere else. And Sizwe, he's going to be talking about his investment journey just now. So which means that Sizwe is still employed, and over and above that, he's got an ice business. And his startup capital to the business in the ice business, 30 grand, that was his first capital. Plastics, how much was that?
Plastics were, I think, for 1,000 bags of plastics,
yeah,
plastic bags, it's 1,000 rand.
1,000
so it's
rand.
almost like 1 rand per bag.
Right.
And I remember I bought 1,000. That's how I actually started. And I bought a freezer as well, a chest freezer.
A chest freezer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That cost me around 4,000.
Right. So roughly speaking, comfortably, you're sitting now at 40 grand.
At about 40 grand.
That was your entry level into the business.
Yeah. And I had transportation.
You already had a car. You didn't need to go and buy another car.
I already had a car.
So
and
now the next...
funny enough,
yeah,
I used my car that I travel in, like my city golf.
yeah,
As I just told myself, if I need to deliver this, I will deliver it.
my man.
Yeah.
When did you start this icing business?
I started in 2019.
2019. We're in 2024, so you've been 5 years at it.
Yeah.
Is it a good business?
It's a good business. Obviously, with every good comes challenges.
Yeah.
So it's a good business, but you need to actually learn you actually need to learn a lot of things as well. So the thing is, with me, I didn't really know business at the time.
Right.
I just everything was unstructured, and I just knew how to sell. I just knew how to sell. I would make something and then just sell it to poor.
Sure.
But as we've gone along,
yeah,
I've learned and I've burnt my fingers, and I've actually learned that the business actually is it's actually a more holistic thing. You have to learn certain things as well, not just you making ice and then be able to sell it.
Yeah. So for some of you that don't know, Sizwe is one of my clients, and I think when we started working together, it's almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I looked at this business and I said, Sizwe, there's no business here. You remember that?
I remember that, and that was the most heartbreaking day of my life.
Was it?
That was the most heartbreaking day of my life. I've been through breakups and they never hit me as much as this day actually hit me. Because everything just, I felt numb. I just became cold. I was like, okay, I've been doing this thing for so long. I've invested time, energy, and everything. Yeah. I've even put my family through everything. Right. And here comes this guy just tells me that what I treasure is not happening. It's not a business.
Yeah. But I think there was a reason why I was saying that, and when we looked at the business at that time, like you mentioned just now, to say, you know, you're not looking at it as a business, and we've been working together now, and this last summer season, we were talking on WhatsApp, and you said to me, TJ, I had to turn clients away, and I'm like, bro, how can you be turning clients away? We thought you had no business, but now this business is turned around, and this is from the learning of how to make a business, which we want to talk about now. You look at this now from where we were when we were saying there's no business, and now your business is thriving. What are some of the things, if you had to tell anybody else who has a business where they're saying they're not making money in this business, and look, you invested about 40 grand in it, and your further invested in it as well after that. But anyone who's got their business today, whether they invested 40 grand, a million, whatever, what would be the lessons that you can tell them that you have implemented in the last 2 years for your business to start growing?
Look, the biggest lesson was knowing your numbers.
Right.
I recall when you first asked me, you asked me, is the business making money?
Right.
And I didn't know how to answer you because in the back of my mind, I thought, yes, I think the business is making money.
Sure.
But it was just old thinking because I don't know my numbers.
Right.
If you then ask me further, okay, how much is your business making a month? I wouldn't tell you.
Right.
So I would advise anyone starting a business to actually just know their numbers at first. Then you will actually know whether your business is a business or it's not.
100%. If you're in property investment, at some point or the other, you've had to evict someone. And I know, my friends, it is a painful exercise. But I'm here to tell you that for the last couple of years, I've been using a company that is called Expello. Expello, basically what they do is that you pay them a monthly fee, and over and above that, whenever you get a delinquent tenant, they will come and evict that individual free of charge, because obviously you've been paying, right? And over and above that, you don't have to do anything. But guess what? I have managed to organize a good price for you. And the link here that you're seeing, which is called expello.link./TJ Tribe, gets you a great discount from Expello. So my friends, don't be caught with your pants down on your tenant. Just Expello them with Expello. It is TJ. Let's go back to the video. So we are in it for the money, but at a high level, how would we know? The first thing is that obviously you're selling something, so you've got an income. And then the second thing is that you've got some expenses for you to get this income. And what's left in the bank account. And that's generally just, the profit. But sometimes you can't do this on your own. That's why there's bookkeepers, that's why there's accountants. But I think a lot of us is where we don't know that there's these professions, that's number one. So the awareness is not there. And number two, sometimes we are afraid of these people. We're thinking that we're going to spend millions.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just a small guy. I'll get to the bookkeeper when I'm making the millions. And yet in the meantime, you are actually losing money, or you have no business and you think you have a business. But outside understanding the numbers, what else would you recommend to someone else who might be in this position?
I would recommend that you actually use those professions or professionals. Be it an accountant, because they are that's the person that will tell you the truth. If you have a partner or anyone that you're working with, I would advise that you have a legal person in your corner.
Sure.
Because a lot of our businesses are informal.
They're built on trust.
They build on trust. I met TJ because he's my friend. We used to go to school together, and suddenly we qualified to start a business.
Right.
So you need to have those professionals. But then also, the most critical thing, which I recently learned of, you also need to have a mentor or a coach.
Right.
Because unfortunately, what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. I think it speaks to the point where you said earlier on, I'm where I am because of where I come from. So if where you come from only has a square,
Yes.
you're only going to know a square. Hey, but there's a rectangle, and there's a circle, and there's plenty other shapes out there. So for you to now understand that, you now need to hang out with people who are in that space.
Yeah.
And that brings me to one of your statements that you said earlier on is research.
Yes.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's great. So, Sizwe, in between you've also done other businesses.
Yeah.
What other businesses have you done?
Okay. I think we will speak about the real estate a bit. Because I tried a lot of things.
Like what?
I tried multi-level network marketing.
Okay.
And it was.
Why going
It's a very good model.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very, very good model. It's just that it needs a lot of work, just like any other business or any other thing that you want to start. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of time.
What was the the way I understand multi-level networking, and this is from the learning of Robert Kiyosaki. I think they wrote a book around that. It says the 21st century business. And there has to be a product in it.
Yes.
So for you, what was the product that you were pushing?
So I was the products were your multivitamins and your supplementation, sports supplementations.
You like the nice things of getting fit.
Yeah, and a lot of home stuff like your soaps and toothbrushes and even books as well. Even books. So I actually it was more of a multiple business. It wasn't just only selling soap or selling anything. I would sell books also to people that are kind of attracted to books.
So you get recruited, you recruit others, you selling, person on the top gets their commission of yourselves, and likewise people what to do. And that's how you build the business.
That's how you build the business. Yes.
Okay. What did you learn in that business? What's your takeaway? Something that let's say, look, I did MLM, but I learned X.
Yeah. So in that business, again, we had coaches. I had a mentor who was mentoring me, and I learned not to make excuses because we would have reviews on every Monday. So I had to cold call. I had to speak to anyone I meet on the street and sell them the product. But then behind selling them the product is actually getting them to actually join the business, so that they can also do that and repeat. So I learned the art of, I guess, selling, but I also learned intercommunication skills. Because for you to stop anyone, anyway. Sometimes it can get a bit creepy, but also you need to actually be strong yourself.
Sure.
So the strong part is almost like you going to gym and exercise and doing push-ups, so that you are strong to lift that iron ball over there. So for me to get strong, I had to actually read books that got me to be strong. I had to listen to tapes of people who were trying to CDs and tapes.
We've got amateurs.
Hey.
No, tapes. I just want to hear that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had to actually consume a lot of material from people who have actually began the business and actually succeeded. So that's the biggest thing that I can take away from that business. Yes, things happened, and at the end, things did not turn out the way they've turned, the way I thought they would turn. But I actually gained a lot. I gained a lot of confidence. I actually learned how to actually be a problem solver, because that's what they taught us there. You are actually solving a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Recently, I said to my son that I was listening to a tape, and it was a book, and he says, "What's a tape?" So I described to him what's a tape. Then he says, "Why didn't you just listen on podcast?" And and then I was like, okay, what? But MLM, good business. Lots of people have made money. Lots of people have also abused MLM. And I think when you do speak about MLM, a lot of people are like, because of the many people that have been abused around it. But isn't MLM as a business a great business? I would advocate for anyone to do it. I think what I've learned from MLM is that I haven't done it personally, but the people that I've always been around me is that they become great salespeople. Like they just have that style of selling, you know, and that cold calling, they will just ignite a conversation from nowhere. But their conversation just hits a curve. It's a nice sweet curve, like into the sell part. I'm like, say what? But you've done some farming as well.
I've done farming.
Right.
It's just one of those things where I was just trying to find myself. And again, not doing proper research, someone comes to me. The farming part, I'm from KZN. I grew up in KZN. My family is from KZN, the roots and whatnot. Yes.
So you're Zulu.
I'm Zulu.
Proper Zulu.
Actually, I'm Swati, but we were born in. It's a long story, you know. It's a long story. We all come from somewhere, and we landed where we landed. Yeah.
You see, guys, I'm not the only one who's confused. He's also confused. Right. So you was raised. Your family is from KZN.
Yes, my family is from KZN.
Sure.
So the rural life brings that. You have land, you plow, you sow, and you've got cattle.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was always exposed. To cattle farming.
Right.
Even as a young child, I grew up in Joburg, but during holidays, my father had cattle, so we would go to KZN, and I would actually look after and shepherd and the cows, the goats, and then all those, yes. So again, with the cattle, I actually I saw these cousins and family of mine that have quite a lot of cattle.
Okay.
And the business mind in me also then lit up.
Sure.
And I actually asked this person, but okay, you have so many cattle, and you have an average of 100 cattle.
Sure.
How do you make money out of these cattle? And that's where the conversation actually came about, and only to find that I found someone who was actually also thinking it on a business front, because a whole lot of people, especially in the rural areas, the cattle farming is actually more of it makes you more macho. They say as a man you need to have cattle.
Really?
And I said, okay, the only way I would actually do this or invest in this is if I make money out of it. So please tell me, how can I make money out of it?
Sure.
And that's how I learned that, okay, you'll have the cattle. Maybe you'll first buy a calf, then raise it, and then it will multiply, and you will then start selling the cows, or they grow into cows, and then you start selling one by one. So I just thought more on a business front. I was not looking to be ego driven and be told that, no, I'm a man, I'm a Zulu man, I should have cows.
Right.
So that's how I followed it. And
but we've established that you're not Zulu, so
oh yeah.
so you can't use that line.
Yeah, and then I followed it up, purchased cows as well.
Sure.
Again, without doing proper research.
Okay.
I generated a couple of thousands.
Yeah.
And I bought 3 cows.
Okay.
All of the
at this you are in KZN at the time.
in KZN, yes.
You are staying there.
No. I'm staying here in Joburg.
So you are staying here in Joburg.
Yes.
Working here in Joburg.
Working in Joburg.
Then you buy 3 cows.
I buy 3 cows. So at home we've got land.
Sure.
We've got land, and my cousins and extended family have got a farm where they actually raise and graze, where the cows graze and whatnot. Yes.
So your 3 cows goes and joins these.
These, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then how did you make money out of it?
I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where sometimes ideas, you have a lot of ideas, but they don't necessarily mature into money, since that's what you wanted. So again, as you were asking me, I'm in Joburg 24/7, and I'm investing into something that I've got no knowledge of. I don't even know that. I didn't even know that you need to inject and sterilize, and I just, maybe it's almost like reading a book and then you think you are a professor now and you can start a business.
But you said you grew up with kettles.
Well, I mean, I go there in December for like 20 days, and I'm more advanced than a Soweto boy, but in true fact, I did not really grow up in KZN. I would only go during holidays and yes.
In that business, Sizwe, what would be your lesson? What was the lesson for you in that business?
Again, you must do research.
Right.
And also, you must do research, and you must do research as well in the team that you would want to work with.
Sure.
You can work with family, but when you you can work with family and then things just turn upside down. Things just do not work.
That's bad. That's being in a bad position, because now not only do you lose money, but you're facing a possibility of losing the family.
Losing the family, yes, 100%.
All right,
Yeah.
because now it brings tension. It brings tension into the entire family.
Yes.
Your mom, your aunts, everybody's getting involved now. So yeah. So I think at the tribe we always talk about Sizwe has been in the tribe for a bit, and at the tribe we're always talking about sometimes you learn and sometimes you win. And you keep on hearing me asking Sizwe. I have the comfort of asking these questions because I know the background of it. But I just want to hear what was his learning. And maybe you're in a position where you're already like juggling that job, and you're in another business, and you're not seeing the growth of it, or maybe you are in a position where you're saying, Flip, I'm working too hard here, but no money is coming in. The real question we should be asking ourselves is, what are you learning? Because for me to be able to guide Sizwe on his path, I was also in that path. At a point, I think I had a business where I was managing just above 100 million, but I wasn't making money. So it was a very tough call when I realized that, Flip, I'm managing all of this money for many people, but I'm only putting breadcrumbs on the table. So is this good for me? And I was like, no, it's not. You know, I need to move on to something that's going to help me here. So IT, that's your mainstream. And ICE business, that's your side business. And you do property investments as well.
Yes.
Why do you do property investments?
Okay. The property investment, how it actually started.
Yeah.
Look, as I said, I tried a lot of businesses and most of them didn't work.
Yeah.
But I started reading, loving to read and reading books on this.
This thought that just came into my
Yes.
head. Are there other businesses other than the ones that you've already shared with us?
Well, I did a lot of informal stuff and I lost money. I bought...
Like how many other things did you do? Just give us a number.
I did a lot. Maybe after all this, I did about 5
other things.
other things. I bought shipping containers.
For what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I bought shipping containers to actually to use them as offices and rent them out. They were already cut and yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's good though. If you've, I think you are ahead of your time. Because containers, they are only beginning to be a thing now. Obviously the banks don't fund it.
Yeah.
But on your own land, you can place a container. It's seen as alternative building.
Yes.
And now the council can approve it, depending on the council that you are in. And your buying price is less compared to building, but it's still intact. So you're ahead of your time, brother.
Yeah.
So what did you do with that business?
It actually never even started. I bought them,
Okay.
and then when I had to collect them,
Yeah.
I hired these big trucks,
Yes.
trucks to actually lift them and take them to a place where I would store them until I got the use which I wanted for them.
Yeah.
And then when I went to collect them,
Right.
only to find that the person that sold me these containers, he actually sold these containers, the very same containers to about, I think maybe two more people.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was just a mess. And I had already paid, and I had paid for these trucks to actually deliver.
So you got scammed, bro.
I got scammed. And yeah, I sat at a police station for a very long time. I had...
What were you reporting at the police station?
No, actually, because this was in a community in the East Rand.
Okay.
So these places or the people that were actually on guard started making a noise as if I'm stealing these containers.
And yet you are coming to collect what's yours.
Yeah, yes. And then when in the community base, people don't know you.
Yeah.
They start buying the story, and actually a mob actually just ensues, and
Sure.
yeah.
Yo, bro. Yeah, I feel your pain.
But again, research.
I think, Sizwe, I want to come back to something here, because now I know your property business, which is doing well. and again it has its own turbulence. I want to come back to a conversation that when I attended training with Robert Kiyosaki, well, there's a training that is called Get Real that I attended with Robert Kiyosaki. It's a 10-day program, and he runs it by himself. And he was telling us how to teach ourselves to lose. And he was saying that as a business person, it's a skill that you need to have. Because if you lose and you're expecting to lose, it's not painful because you're expecting it. But if you lose and you're not expecting it, you're going to die. So he said, he gives the theory of, remember he was in the Navy.
Oh yes.
So he speaks about being in the Navy, and he says, look, every day as a Navy person, you practice to die. And what basically happens is that you go into simulations, and within these simulations, you are flying and you're getting shot at and things like that. But it's simulation, it's not real life. But obviously the people that survive within these simulations are the ones that actually go to war.
Yeah.
The ones that don't, they shit in their pants. Some of them, blood pressure. Some of them, they just don't make it.
Yeah.
Because they can't make it. Right. So when I look at your journey, all of these businesses that you've done, being scammed, losing money, I think you're headed into great space, man. You're just learning. You're just learning on your own.
Yeah.
And also, besides just learning on your own, what you're doing here is you're coming from being a driver. You had the courage to start, which a lot of people don't do. And you haven't stopped, which is amazing, right? Irrespective of losing, irrespective of being scammed, you haven't lost. Because for some people, they get scammed like 10 rand, and they're like, no, I'm not going out of the house. But here you are, you still have a business.
Yeah.
So tell us about the real estate business.
Okay, fast forward the real estate business.
Yeah.
Started reading books on Robert Kiyosaki.
Right.
And I'm in the IT field. I've got access to internet.
Right.
I actually not control the internet, but it's more like a home ground advantage to myself. I give myself access to internet.
Is this the dial-up internet?
No.
Or this is now the fiber?
No, this is now the fiber ADSL.
We've moved
yes, at company level.
We've moved to our level of understanding.
Yes.
We're no longer in the 90s.
Yeah, no, we're no longer in the 90s.
Okay,
Yeah. This actually the path started in 2015, exactly 2015.
Right.
Went online, go to richdad.com.
Right.
I got fascinated because then a certain picture actually was drawn. This made so much sense because I felt it just spoke to me. If I just go back, Robert Kiyosaki was just a simple person who had his struggles, and here he is turning his struggles into fortune. And I saw exactly, it actually spoke to me.
Sure.
And then obviously you have to, for you to actually become what you wanted to or what you want to become, you got to take action. I took action, bought a course in a 3-day course in real estate.
Sure.
And that's where I started, attended the course. And after the course, it's 3 days.
Yeah.
I struggled with varsity and all of that, and I spent a year, and I felt, no, this might not be for me. But I attended a 3-day course, and when I came out of that course, I already knew that, this is me. This is something that will definitely work for me.
Yeah.
And to show that it wasn't just most of the things like from motivational speakers and so forth, it actually just hypes you up, but it doesn't show you the how to.
Right.
Yes. So
Right.
you see the picture and you're like, okay, but that's me in that picture. But tomorrow you wake up and you're like, okay,
So how do I do it?
it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
So here they showed us and they taught us how to.
They had you,
Yeah.
they showed you how to do it.
Yes.
So you're walking out there with all the tools.
All the tools.
My man.
Yeah. Walked out. It was December. I think I registered. And look, some of the things that I did then, I didn't even know. Because I registered a business. I had never registered a business. But because now I'm driven, I've got a drive, and I want to do
What do you
something.
mean you hadn't really registered a business? You had many businesses that you had done before that though.
No, actually, those were not. Those were informal businesses. The ice business was after. Yeah. So those were a lot of them were just informal businesses with no company registration.
So now
one.
yeah. Now here you're doing it straight.
Yes. Yes. Now I'm doing it straight. Register a business. Register a company.
Yeah.
Go to purchase a domain. I didn't know all those things, so that my email is not Sizwe.gmail or now I want to be professional. I want Sizwe.tnn or my domain.
Nice.
Register that, and then what they taught us there is just the simplicity to search for property.
Yeah.
As many as you. They taught us to search for 100 properties.
Right.
And here I was searching, looking for properties, driving. I took my wife. Okay, I took my wife to the course. We went together with my wife. I actually convinced her to actually go to the course, because again she was like, you like all these things, like you hear about something today, all these shiny things. You hear about something and you get excited and you want it.
If I was here, I would have said, you seem too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to the course, and she's actually the one that said purchase it.
Really?
Yeah, because I looked, and when I look at her, I see she's actually smiling. She's head over heels. She saw what I
My
saw.
wife just stood and went to pay.
Okay.
She didn't talk to me. No.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we have no money.
You've never discussed it. Yes.
Yes. So in the process of signing up, I'm like highly upset, bro. Like upset.
Yeah.
You remember Leroy, right?
Yes.
So Leroy, he was talking in the front, and Candice
Yes.
was doing the sign up. 3 years later, we're doing wedding property.
Uh-huh.
Candice says to me, TJ, do you remember the day when I was signing you guys up? Your wife was making a payment and you didn't want to say a word. And I said, Candice, we had lost 5 million. I was like 2 weeks discovering that I've lost 5 million.
Yeah.
Here's my wife is putting a deposit on 180,000.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get the money from?
Yeah.
You know, but we took the risk.
Yes.
And here we are. So you are in the real estate investment side,
Yes.
right? How many tenants do you have now?
We got over 30 tenants.
Right.
Because it's actually
and are you managing this by yourself?
I've been managing the properties by myself,
Okay.
but the latest properties that we have acquired,
Yeah.
I started getting someone who's got the time, who's got the skill to
Right.
actually manage them.
Because I was going to ask if you are a father,
Yes.
a husband, an employee, and an ice maker, where you getting the time from?
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time, so
Yeah.
but it's good that you're getting professionals to help you on that side of the business. But you also do a different twist to the real estate.
Yeah.
You also do agency.
Yes.
So you're an agent.
Yes.
So you sell,
Yeah.
right? How is that going?
Okay. Maybe I'll start with how it came about.
Sure.
Because here I am. I'm an investor. I'll purchase a property
Yeah.
and flip it and rent it out and make money.
Sure.
But then, in between all of that, I learned a lot of skills, and there's a skill that I learned which is sourcing.
Yes, yes.
So once I started sourcing or brokering, I actually saw myself as a real estate agent, and I worked a lot with real estate agents. I created a lot of relationships because we both have the same goal,
Sure.
which is to sell a particular property,
Yeah.
and we both have to bring either a buyer or a seller into mode so that the property gets sold. So when time went, I was like, okay, but I was already a real estate agent.
Sure.
How about I just maybe formalize it now?
Yeah.
And and do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And what about all the other businesses? The farming, the containers, you're no longer into that?
No, I'm no longer into that.
Right.
So
what is your big focus right now?
My big focus
Where you
is
most of your time,
Yes.
your resources is going to.
It's real estate.
It's really
So it's real estate,
yeah.
which is the estate agency,
Okay.
and then the real estate investment or investing side. Because those two, I believe, for me, they actually intertwine and marry.
Right. Right. If you are to restart from when you first got your first job as a driver,
Yes.
with what you know today, what would you recommend you do? So this is kind of like looking back at Sizwe, the younger Sizwe,
Yes.
and now you are grown up. Because like me and you are older,
Yeah.
and there's lots of younger kids that come through us, and kind of like tell them, do it this way, they don't want to listen. They just want to do their own thing. But the experience and the history has taught us
Yeah.
something here, right?
Yeah.
What would Sizwe tell the younger Sizwe?
I would actually tell a younger Sizwe to start in real estate. Start in real estate.
No family.
You will burn because I burned, yeah. So I wouldn't want to burn again for the second time. Even though that journey actually prepared and actually shaped me.
Yeah.
It shaped me and it gave me a lot of tools. It gives me a lot of strength, inner strength, and it just prepared me. But sometimes you don't have to go 15 to 20 years to actually get to a destination.
100%. 100%. My friends, this is why we say sometimes we learn and sometimes we win. You know, so the win is when you're doing great. But the learning is always coming when you're in a space where you have lost something and you need to be asking yourself the hard questions. What can I learn here? What happened? How can I improve this? Like Sizwe is sharing with us, this is it, you know. So you start real estate. That's
Yes.
your thing.
Yes.
But why start real estate at a younger age? Isn't real estate for older people?
Actually, it's not for older people. I think there's a myth around real estate. It's not fashionable.
Because you can't drive around with it and make circles and do the things that they do.
100%.
Because it's stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that it's yours as well.
Yes,
And not
yes,
unless
yes.
you tell people, hey, that's my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as youngsters, we grew up idolizing people that had success, relative success at the time through real estate. I mean, a lot of people had back rooms and they would actually extend their houses and rent out those properties, and they were living a great life.
Sure.
But I only learned this when I was more experienced and when I was actually within real estate. I'm like, oh, hang on, I knew this timer that when we were growing up, he always lived. His children went to good schools. even though he was not as flashy, but his children went to good schools. They traveled a lot. They lived a good life, and through real estate. I mean, everything just multiplied and multiplied through real estate. So why then can't you, as a 20-year-old that has just started working and earning an income, get into that?
As a driver, you can buy properties. There's many options. The government has given a subsidy. And I'm saying this because Sizwe has disclosed that he was a driver at some point, so he's earning a certain income. So it's not about how much you're earning. There's a way in which you can invest already. Sizwe, I want to land the plane. And my question that I want to ask of you is, with the real estate that you have now, you're continuously buying, you're finding alternative ways of making money. The ICE business is helping your real estate business. Your real estate agencies are helping your real estate business. So basically, you're working in multiple ways to build your real estate business.
Yes.
But you already have 30 tenants. What are the benefits that you've already started seeing now with real estate? Because it almost sounds like you're just throwing stuff there. Are there any benefits that you have seen?
Look, there's major benefits.
Sure.
I'm a family man. Maybe I forgot to mention that I'm a father of 2.
Right.
So I'm a family man, and I've always wanted a better life for my children and family.
Right.
I know better life is just a bit vague and broad.
Yeah.
But as you said earlier, I had to walk to school.
Sure.
I mean, climbing buses, and as a 7-year-old, I learned Johannesburg CBD as a 7-year-old. My parents did not transport me. I had to learn to be street smart as a young kid. But I do not wish that for my children.
Right.
I mean, life is not as it was before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of safety, risky. So I've never wanted my children to actually use a taxi, as you had said.
Yeah.
I've always wanted my children to actually be driven around.
Yeah.
It's okay, we can call them Model Cs or CC, whatever it is, but that's what I wanted for my children. And I achieved that because my children never ever drove in taxis, unless maybe when they wanted to, because they had visited a granny, and that's how they commune over there. So, but of late, as the business grows, as the properties grow, I didn't know that you can actually travel with the rental income that we actually earn. My children today are going to much better schools.
Sure.
All because of the real estate, that we are actually growing. So I want to grow it more and more, because I'd like to see my children actually live a great life.
Yeah.
Live a life that I've never ever dreamt that I would live, or that they would live. I mean, they are exposed now at these new schools. They are exposed to much more, and I would like them to actually live a great life.
Amazing stuff. My friends, that was Sizwe. He's doing real estate so that his kids can have a great life. I'm not doing that. I am investing in real estate so that me, not my kids, so that me can have a good life.
I'm already having a good life.
I know me, I want to travel, Sizwe, I want to go to nice places. Someone says to me, have you ever slept in an Egyptian cotton before? I said, say what?
Yeah.
What is Egyptian cotton? I want to sleep in it.
Yeah.
But it's not being about materialistic. It's about designing the life that you want. So if you're like Sizwe, that's you. There's no right or wrong way. It's just a different way of thinking. For me, I want to just be able to know the fact that no matter what, I can provide for myself, for my wife and my family, irrespective of what will happen to the economy, no matter what will happen to me, right? So lots of breadwinners, they go to see Jesus, and then the lifestyle that they had changes. With the real estate, if I go today, my wife is still collecting rent. You know, if I go today, my property managers are still managing my properties. I'm not going with the properties are here. So I think that's my big win with real estate. But I concur with you, man. Family is important, especially if that's your passion. It's not a passion for everybody. So my friends, if this has been of interesting to you and you've liked or you want to hear more or ask questions to Sizwe, in the comments let us know. But I'm really excited of what Sizwe's journey is all about. He's in the tribe. We are continuing grinding, learning together. I've learned quite a lot from Sizwe today. What not to do and what to do as well. So I'm hoping that you have learned something. It is I, TJ. We will check you out on the next. Do you want to do a sign off? Do you know what the sign off is?
No.
How Sizwe.
On the next episode.
Yeah. We will see you on the next episode. Bam bam. Before we go, my friends, what are we going to do here is, you might be wondering what is an ice making business look like. And in its capacity, serving his community, we're going to show you how the business works. Remember, there's a machine, there's plastics, and then there's the transport. But obviously, if you have these three things, you don't have a business. You need to have, say what? You need to have clients, right? If you have clients, then you've got a business, because the clients are going to be able to buy the ice from you. And my friends, that's the only way we can be able to make some money. And if you're also interested in the business of ice, maybe Sizwe can help you, because he's been at it for a long time. I have never done ice before. I have no idea how to do it. But I'm just helping him guide so that he can make the money. Let's go and check out what that business looks like.